Hello, this is Jim Smith at GannAnalysis.net. Today I want to show you the square of 9 as it applies to gold. So this is the square of 9. You can see the numbers start with 1. They revolve outward. The first completion of the square is 9, which is where you get the term square of 9. Some people call it the Gann wheel. Different names for this thing, but it's basically the idea here is that you start at 1 complete cycle would be 9, then 25, 49, 81, and you might notice a pattern here. 9, take the square root is 3, add 2, that's 5, square it, that's 25. 25, take the square root of it is 5, add 2, that's 7, square it, that's 49. So you can see 9, I'm going to go here 9, 25, 49, 81, 120. Now you have the formula. So that is this formula. Now it just works out mathematically cleanly if you do it this way. You can do it on these others, but right now I just want to show you the concept. And you can see this, what is called the iron cross. It's just a cross, north, south, east, west axis. You can see that anything that falls on this cross is considered a cardinal level. It's more important support or resistance for the market, and we'll show you that in a minute. But this side of it would be called, we start with March 21st. You have numbers all the way around, but the outside perimeter is dates. So March 21st, yeah, which is of course the spring equinox, and north lines up with the summer solstice, June 21st. September 21st, 2nd, 3rd, right in there is the fall equinox. That's the east, and of course you can't see it, but it's south lines up with December 22nd, which is the winter solstice. So you have two elements here. You have time and price. And Gann is always about time and price. So that's the thing you have to remember. Now, if we want to get more complicated, we can go, this thing could go out to infinity. I should mention to you, I don't have all the rings on there, but you can see you can keep going out, 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 out. And I've lined this thing up 28.9. I do that for a reason. 28.9 was the high for gold, and 1910, 1739. Each time you go one ring in, that's 360 degrees on the square of 9. So keep that in mind. That'll be important when I show you the next chart. But right now, you can see it lines up with June 8th, 2089, 1910. 1910, remember that number. So here's the thing. 28.9, if we place the cursor, you can do something with the square of 9 that's kind of interesting. You can line up on a specific high or low, and then in this case we're using our start point is the high, which is 28.9, which I just showed you, and 360 degrees down in price, or in on the square of 9, would be 1910. And I just showed you that. 28.9 was the high, and if you do 360 degrees down, that's 1910 and change. And if you do another 360 degrees, it would be 1739 and a half, basically. And you can see how that works. 1739.5379 if you want to get into the details. 1910.36. It gives you the exact level. And why is that important? Because the market responds to the square of 9. Now, fundamentalists don't want you to know about this. Just, if you're a fundamentalist, just plug your ears or, click off, turn off this video because this is bad for you. It shows that there is something out there that you do not control. This is based on science, not opinion. And as we know, everybody in the media, the financial media, when they're talking about, mostly they're just offering opinions. Whereas the square of 9 is based on science. I gave you the formula. It has nothing to do with the opinions of James Smith or your opinion or anybody famous. A billionaire gets on CNBC and tells you his opinion. Is that worth anything? No. What's really worth something is science. So if you start here, you go 360 degrees down, there you have a reason why gold just found resistance. So what I'm saying here with the square of 9, it offers resistance and support. Has nothing to do with my opinion. You don't need to care about my opinion. Once you know how this works, you have a really, really effective tool. You know where you're likely to find resistance. Now, there's one more element I mentioned to you when we started. I said it's also about timing. If we go back to the square of 9, notice that June 8th lines up in time on the square of 9 with 1910. And as I pointed out, 1910, right here, we got resistance around June, early June, right here, June 8th. So when time and price line up, Gann said you have a reason for a change in trend. The market is rarely in balance, just the opposite of what your economist will tell you. The economists, they have their own views, the efficient market hypothesis. The market is always in balance, and you can never beat the market because we discount all available information. Therefore, by the time you take the trade, somebody's already acted on that information. So the markets are efficient. Well, Gann has another idea. Markets are not efficient. They turn. It's just the opposite of what you've been told. Markets change trend when they're in balance according to time and price. So if June 8th is the time when this thing should change trend and it's meeting resistance at a 360 degree line, that's 360 degrees measured down from high or in on the square of 9, that's why you had a top. Now, in order for you to have a reason to buy gold, you need to close above 1910. If that doesn't happen, the risk is you may sell off to 1739. There are other levels I can point out here. I'm just trying to make this simple. So on the very simple level, the risk is that you top here, you sell off. But it's not as easy as that. You always have to keep an open mind because this has nothing to do with my opinion. If you close above this, you know automatically if you were short gold, you should reverse and go long. But if it continues to show weakness here, there's a good chance that time and price are giving us a top for gold, at least on a near-term basis. Long-term, a gold is probably going to go higher. But near-term, if we're just looking at it right now, the fact that we lined up June 8th with 1910 on the square of 9, that's important. When time and price are in balance, you have a change in trend, and that's what we got. The last couple of days, it started to sell off. It met obvious resistance here, 360 degrees down from high on the square of 9. So you now know how the square of 9 works in a real live example. A lot of people tell you how the square of 9 works on past cases where it's not of interest to you because it's not real time, it's not happening now. I'm showing you something that's happening now. And one other complication with the square of 9, you can change the price unit. In fact, 1 point is what I like to use most of the time because that makes it simple. But obviously, if you're using currencies, you can't use 1 point. It's too large a number. It probably 0.01 or 0.001. You're going to have to change the scale if you're looking at currencies instead of, stocks or, in this case, gold. So there's a lot more to tell you about the square of 9, but I just wanted to give you this case study in a real-time example that's happening right now, so if somebody asks you why is gold stopping here at 1910, it has nothing to do with the billionaire's view who wants to shoot his mouth off. It has nothing to do with your opinion, has nothing to do with my opinion. It has to do with the square of 9. It's June 8th. gave you the high, 1910. Time and price are in balance. When time and price are in balance, you get a change in trend. It's that simple. People want to make it more complicated. It's not complicated. And of course, there's a reason why most people won't show this to you, because they don't want you to know. And certainly if you're an economist or a fundamentalist, you don't want people looking at the square of 9. That's bad, because you want them to listen to your opinion. And that's all you got going. You know, you get famous, you go on CNBC, you tell people your opinion. Some other guy comes out and says, oh, you don't have to listen to your opinion, you have to listen to the square of 9. That's wrong. If you tell people that they can look at the square of 9, are they ever going to listen to you again on CNBC? No. They'll just go to the square of 9 and say, hey, I don't need your opinion. I've got the square of 9. So, talk to you later. I'm just saying there's more science to the market than you realize. Gann believed it's all about time and price. It's a science. It's geometry of time and price. When they're in balance, you get a change in trend. So I hope this has been helpful. If you like what you've heard here today, go to the website www.gannanalysis.net. Register, you'll get some free reports. And if you really like the service, remember, we're just scratching the surface here. If you subscribe to the service, you get 20, 30 charts on gold, on any range of markets, gold's commodities, bonds, stocks, currencies, even Bitcoin. So on a daily basis, you're going to get 2 or 3 reports on a range of markets, whatever's happening. And what we're trying to do is bring you into the world of Gann, where you see the world is based on science of time and price, not based on the opinion of James Smith. It's not based on the opinion of a billionaire. It's all based on science. So if you like that approach, I would suggest, hey, try it for 3 months, trial subscription, see how you like it. And if it works for you, then hopefully we'll keep you on board. We want to make you some money trading, and we want to demystify it and show you up front that it's all based on science, time and price. Again, square of 9, June 8th, 1910. Why did gold stop at 1910 on June 8th? Because that's when time and price were in balance. People don't want to show you that. But even people who know Gann, they don't want to show you that. They consider this proprietary. But I'm trying to educate as well as bring you into the reality of Gann, which is all based on science. And if you listen to people on the normal media, they're going to say that it's all subjective. What's really funny is, from a psychological perspective, that's called projection. When you tell people that Gann is subjective, that's interesting, because Gann is objective. It's based on science, whereas the opinions of an economist or somebody who considers themselves a good fund manager, etc., that's all it is a fund. They're just offering their opinion. Well, I've got news for you. I don't care about your opinion. I never will, because I've got something better. I've got Gann. That's what we're selling here. We want you to understand Gann even before you buy our service. If you don't want to buy our service, that's fine. But at least today, the time you've spent here, you've learned a case example of why Gann is valuable. Square of 9, it's really, really interesting. And I'm hoping that you'll be so interested, at least you'll register www.gannanalysis.net and maybe try our service for 3 months. But if nothing else, at least you learned something about why gold just stopped at 1910 in early June. There's a reason for it. It's all based on science. And that's not what they want you to hear on CNBC or any other financial news networks. What they want you to believe is this billionaire said this, therefore gold is doing that. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's all based on science. So good luck in your trading. Hope this has been helpful. And if you register, we'll give you some free reports, and hopefully you'll learn a bit more about Gann.